Good morning, it's August 29th. This is To My Liberal Friends. What is the state of the Democratic Party today? It is a question that a lot of people are asking. And if you watch the news about the summer meetings they held in Minnesota, you'll be just as baffled as I am. The first question that should be asked is, what do Democrats stand for? Other than being angry at Donald Trump and ranting and raving about Donald Trump, what do they stand for? What issues are they willing to take a stand on that they believe will resonate with voters on the national level? Are they being sucked down the rabbit hole where they only appeal to heavily blue urban voters? This past week we watched an American icon in dining, Cracker Barrel, try to rebrand themselves with a new logo and new appearances inside their restaurants. The results were not pretty, and after watching their customer base express their anger, they pivoted and went back to the old logo. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the inside of the restaurants that have already been refurbished to look like an updated Denny's. This is similar to what's happening with the Democratic Party. They're searching for a new brand, a new logo they can put forward to voters, and so far they're coming up empty. What we're talking about here in terms is a big party registration change in key swing states. Let's look at 4 key swing states that keep track of party registration by party. Look, the Republican Party is in the best position at this point in the cycle since they've been since 2005 in all 4 of these key battleground states. How about Arizona, Nevada? Republicans haven't done this well since 2005. Goodness gracious, at this point in cycle, Republicans are killing it. North Carolina, I couldn't find a point in which Republicans are doing better at this point in the cycle. At least this century probably goes back to the last century. Pennsylvania is very similar. Republicans are doing better at this point than any time as far as I could find. Now, what type of gains are we talking about here for the Republican Party? Let's compare it to this point during the first Trump administration, way back in 2017. So look at this. Republican Party gains in registration compared to the point in 2017 during Trump's first administration. Arizona, you got a Republican gain of 3 points. That's big in a key swing state. How about Nevada? Up the hill we go, even though we're sticking in the Southwest, a 6-point gain. That's a state with heavily unions. How about we come back to the East Coast? North Carolina, a gain of 8 points for Republicans. Democrats keep thinking they're going to swing this state. And then the Keystone State in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, again, we're talking about a gain of 8 points. In the last election, the issues that seemed to resonate with voters were ones that Republicans held the right position. Immigration was a key issue, and today we have Democrats defending illegal immigrants, many of them charged with and convicted of heinous crimes, instead of listening to the people. On the issue of green energy, Democrats are still trying to force the public to buy EVs and other forms of energy when the marketplace is not supporting that effort, not at this point in time. On taxes, the Democrats are decrying the recently passed tax bill, calling it a giveaway to billionaires, ignoring all of the middle-class benefits in the bill. They don't seem to get it that workers relying on tips like the no tax on tip policy. Workers who work overtime like the no tax on overtime. Seniors over 65 like the new $6,000 deduction being made available to them. And while they rant and rave about the bill, they seem oblivious that all of these provisions have income caps, so they don't benefit the wealthy. Crime was a big issue to people, especially in urban areas. But Democrats would rather cook the statistics that admit there's been some major failures to control crime in Democratic-led cities. President Trump brought the National Guard and federal agents to Washington, D.C., and suddenly they go almost 2 weeks without a murder. But Democrats protested this effort. Now I noticed, because I lived there, that the overwhelming majority of the protesters were white in a heavily black majority city. Were they paid protesters, or were they staffers from Democratic offices on Capitol Hill? But when you go into neighborhoods where crime is most prevalent, you hear a different story. Governor Pritzker of Illinois, he takes a walk along Lake Michigan in the morning, accompanied by his security detail and the media, and pronounces the city safe. Well, let him walk on the south side of Chicago by himself, no security detail, about 10 o'clock at night, and see if he feels safe. And if I were leading the Democratic Party, I would tell them to wake up and smell the roses. We're on the wrong side of too many issues that people care about. We need to get out of our urban bubbles and quit listening to the white liberal elites that seem to dominate where we are in real issues. But I'm not the leader, and as a Republican, I hope they keep going deeper and deeper in that rabbit hole, because out in middle America, people are shaking their heads and changing parties. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.